I worked in New York City this summer for American Express. It was an undergraduate finance, just a general undergraduate finance internship. My job was, they gave me a project, and it was to look at the past 5 years of investment data. And what they typically have done for the group has only looked at year over year. And so by looking at the whole 5 years, we could look at some trends that were possibly coming up, and then go back and see what we could do for the 2014 plan. The trends that I found through my research and analysis was that we should move a lot of this funding to the more higher growth areas and sort of consolidate what they already had, as they seemed to be just throwing money at kind of a blank wall.
This summer I worked for Verizon, more specifically their Fios television group. So what Verizon does is they reach out to different companies such as ESPN, Disney, MTV, and they structure contracts in order to air their channels. My role was to analyze these contracts and determine how much they're paying for a specific channel, and then go ahead and determine if that price is justified. So that little cable box that you have in your television room, it collects data every time you change the channel, every time you turn your TV on, any other things you do while watching television. So what's great about this is that these cable companies get to analyze this data, and they generate millions of data points, and from there they can use that to structure their contracts in terms of how they pay for a channel such as ESPN, Disney, and MTV.
For my summer internship this past summer, I worked at a bank back home in Puerto Rico called Banco Popular. In this bank, I was assigned for my internship a project in the technology department of the bank. The specific project that I was assigned was to create a managerial dashboards for all managers. In order to create the dashboard, I had to interview several managers from different lines of business in the bank, such as audit, legal, risk, compliance, and purchases, to see which of those key performance indicators that they wanted to measure in a managerial dashboard.
What I did last summer is I worked at Untitled Technologies under their Sikorsky subsidiary. What I was tasked to do, which relates specifically to what you guys are doing in SIT, is I was working with a variety of different softwares that help me with my day-to-day. One of the projects I was working on was creating an all-encompassing contract database that would make the workflow and processes easier for other people on my finance team.
This summer, I interned at Verizon Communications in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. I was a part of their Finance Leadership Development Program, and I worked in corporate treasury. But within corporate treasury, I worked with the Lean Six Sigma team, which really was working on the whole finance transformation within Verizon's company. So I worked on the legal entity rationalization project, which really involved me working on the management aspect of all of Verizon's legal entities.
SIT prepared me for understanding a lot of the terminology that was associated with these systems. So for instance, American Express, not that I knew of when before I went into it, they have a world-class CRM system. They have tons of information. And what the CRM database does is allows them to be able to more accurately advertise, market, and then, quite frankly, like provide rewards for their customers. They like to say that they're even better at, they can predict when a divorce is going to happen. What SIT, I can remember, pulling up queries and things like that on Access. And you have to do that because as a first-year analyst, your job really is to take a lot of, synthesize a lot of data and then give it to and present it to your boss in a way that then he can interpret it and then make decisions off of that. What it does is it shows your employer, one, that you can do all the basic things, and then from there, what it'll allow you to do is go ahead and provide your interpretations, because that's what's going to set you apart from everyone else. So if you can get rid of the training and some of the more basic things that other people might get caught up on before you ever get to your job or your internship, it will provide you with a huge advantage, and I can definitely tell you, will help you when you're trying to get a job.
SIT really prepared me for my summer internship for several reasons. Just to start with, my project itself was very based in database work just because there's so many legal entities, and one of the biggest problems that Verizon faced at the company was that there was no single place holding all of their entity data. So having database information or database knowledge such as that of Access that we learned in SIT was really helpful. And my other coworkers really didn't have any experience with Access. That really gave me an upper hand in working on the project. In addition, my project was also a part of the bigger Lean Six Sigma team, which Lean and Six Sigma are both concepts that we learned in SIT, and having knowledge on things such as the DMAIC process really helped me kind of get a better understanding of what I was working on and allowed me to do more meaningful work.
Learning how to use Access as well as database management during SIT really prepared me for my summer internship. Not only did it impress my supervisors when I asked for this program to be installed on my computer, I was also impressed with myself with the amount of analysis that I could perform. Now, what's interesting about Access is that it can analyze thousands of data points within seconds. So this is great when I had to run reports for my supervisors as well as analyze trends in consumer data over time.
The course added a lot of value to my summer internship. Being an accounting major, I did not have much knowledge about technology and management of information systems, and specifically in the creation of dashboards. As a result of taking SIT, I was able to clearly understanding the meetings, all the terms, all the business intelligence and management information terms that they were explaining about the company in their different meetings with the executive board members.
You're almost able to form solutions, and as an intern, I think that's really important that you can kind of problem solve for the company, maybe a little bit outside of what your task is, but since you do have that greater knowledge, I think that's really cool.
You don't really fully understand how big or how much these companies rely on these specific softwares. For example, SAP, I was using that every day. The amount of accounts and the different data entries that you have within that one program is so vast, and you really can't understand all that it encompasses until you get in the job.
I think while working in a big corporation like Verizon, you assume that they're really up to date on the biggest technology trends, especially being a telecommunications company, but that definitely was not the case. All the things that we learned about in SIT, such as having cross-functional ERP systems and working in a business that has all their strategies kind of in a synergy, that really wasn't the case at Verizon, and that was really surprising for me. So I think having that knowledge that we learned in SIT about all these different issues that big companies face in terms of their information strategy and IT is really important, because you can really see how the company works as a whole and see where the issues are, and I think that's important.
The biggest IT surprise I noticed during my internship was how important ERP systems and database management was to an organization. One of the biggest challenges I faced was that all the data I collected from the IT department, the marketing group, as well as the settlements group was all redundant and had a lot of errors within itself. For example, MTV was noted as 3 different names in these 3 different organizations.
And so my biggest surprise was that I was having to really rely on these different tools that we were taught in SIT to function and then provide, do my job at a much higher level.
I think the best recommendations would be just listen to what your professors are saying. Really understand that what they're teaching you is what's actually you're going to be doing day to day, no matter what you'll be doing.
When you come in with that understanding, that foundation, people are going to ask for your help. You're going to be able to finish your work faster, which then provides you the opportunity to then go ahead and interpret it, which shows your boss that you're not just, you can do more than just crank out numbers. What you can do then is you can show what that means to the company and then where you should go from there. I had a finance internship, so I did not think that it would be involved with, technology. I thought, the little bit of Excel, but definitely not Access. Didn't expect that. Didn't expect to see CRM or any of these terminology come up again. But I would rethink some of my minors, maybe add an MIS minor, because I think taking some of these classes, understanding these systems, gives you an advantage and provides you with sort of this foundation that will then allow you to grow and become a really valued employee there.
Take big data seriously. It really is the next big thing.
If we just look at the trends and where things are going in the world specifically, we see that consumer technology spending worldwide is going to hit $1 trillion this year. We see investments for business. Almost 50% of that is going to go into technology. So businesses are constantly trying to find new ways that they can improve things. And the way they're seeing the most improvement is through technology. It's through, having the cloud. It's through having Access, Excel, having SAP. SAP is another huge thing that Sikorsky relied on, but also other companies obviously rely on that too. So being able to transfer the skills that you have here at Villanova and SIT to the workforce it's very real and it's very helpful.